Now, spending today on this bike has actually been an eye-opener for me, and it's made me realise I want to do more of this. I want to be able to get out and visit more of these beautiful locations on a motorcycle that my Street Glide Special won't reach. So an adventure bike is in my future. I can feel it in my bones. Well, g'day throttlers, welcome back to the channel. We're down here at Size Harley-Davidson at Cambelltown, and we're taking out this beast here, the Harley-Davidson Pan America, the new adventure bike in the Harley-Davidson range. And she looks pretty specky. I know that I'm a bit late to the party when it comes to reviewing this. However, I just haven't had the opportunity up until now. But today is the day. 1250 Revolution Max engine. This one's got the upgraded wire wheels as well that are tubeless. We'll have a closer look at them a little bit later in the day. Anyway, I've got this little baby all day today, so let's jump on and have a little bit of fun. I can tell you what, straight off the bat, it's very comfortable and very powerful. Revolution Max 1250cc engine, the same engine that is in the Sportster S as well, that has just arrived in Australia. Alright, so while we're just cruising through this little town in the middle of nowhere, I'll just run through the riding feels from the front of the bike to the back. So firstly, the windscreen, it's adjustable higher and lower. I've moved it around a little bit. It does make a difference. Not a huge difference, but it does make a difference. If you were a shorter rider, I think it would make a massive difference. Obviously, this beautiful dashboard cluster that we've got here. I'm in full sun today. It is summer sun, and the visibility of the dashboard is very good. In particular, your speed, being in bright white and a thicker font, you can see that the speed is very dominant on the cluster, and essentially that's the main thing that you want to look at anyway when you're looking down at your cluster. Fuel, you can check at any time. Gear selection, you can check at any time, but speed, you want to have a quick glance down there for that. Handlebar position, you can see these handlebars, they're slightly raised and pulled back a little bit. I'm sure there'll be customizability in that by loosening these and moving it forwards and backwards however you feel. If anything, for my body shape, I'd probably like them a little bit closer to me, but they're still quite comfortable where they are. Now the controls, you can see on the left hand side, we've got standard typical style indicator, activator and releaser, not the Harley style. Here it's only on the left hand side for left and right, and push in to cancel. Now a lot of the tech on a bike like this is pretty wasted on a person like me, because I'm just not really inspired by tech all that much. It's about the riding feel for me. But for those of you that are really interested in tech, check out Matt Laidlaw. He's got a whole bunch of videos that dive deep into everything that this bike can do. It's certainly something to look at if that's what tickles your fancy. However, I'm after a bike to ride, to have fun, to feel cool, and to go to awesome destinations. So that's kind of what I'm about with my bikes and my bike reviews and opinions as well. There is a single switch traction control deactivator there on the left hand side. You can actually just push it in and hold it in, and it will deactivate traction control. Coming back to the seating pad that I'm sitting on, super comfy. Obviously it's an upright seating position. The seat is comfortable. I have been on here from the better part of an hour now, and admittedly my bum is getting a bit stiff and I'm ready to get off and have a bit of a stretch, but it is a comfortable bike to ride. Foot pegs, now the foot pegs are slightly set back, and my legs are tucked up a little bit further than I thought they might be, but still that gives you good performance, and you're able to stand up and get out of the saddle really quite easily as well. Now the engine being the Revolution Max 1250cc, this is an engine that's shared in the Sportster S range as well, and the power winding on in all gears is absolutely phenomenal. On highway speed, doing 100 and accelerating up to 110, it does it in an instant, and particularly low in the red range as well. You can really rip through the gears in this very quickly and very excitingly. Mirror position is good. It's one of the rare factory mirrors that are actually situated in a really good position. I can see everything behind me, and I'm really happy with the mirrors. There's no vibration at all. There's very little vibration in the Revolution Max engine. It's just a strong, pokey, really potent engine as well. Okay, so I find myself a little bit of a dirt track going out to a place called Fermill Lakes. Now I don't know where this goes and what sort of a road this is, but as I did say to you, I have been given permission to get out on some dirt. So here we do it. Fermill Lakes, sunrise to sunset. All right, let's give it a go. Now I have to admit, this is a pretty well maintained piece of road. It's national parks. But in saying that, I am charging across here a lot easier than I would be than if I was on my street glide, for sure. Standing up on the Pan America is really comfortable. Probably the handlebar height could be a little bit higher, but it's really quite doable. It's quite nice actually. Look, let's face it, this bike was magnificent on the freeway. Amazing on the streets, on the corners, it was very flickable. But this is where it comes alive. This is where the advantage of an adventure bike is, right here. A little bit of a stone crossing. And to be honest, I think just this experience today on this has made me realise that my second bike that I want to get for the Throttle Down Under shed has to be something that's capable of exploring these areas too. Now for my needs, the 1250 is just too big. Not too big to handle, but too big for what I want to achieve. But this is very cool. Okay, so let's take a walk around the bike. You're going to have to excuse my gear on the bike. Where I am, there's lots of bull ants' nests, and I don't want to lay my gear on the ground and risk being eaten alive on the way home. So having a look, let's start at the front of the bike, which is the best place to start. Got a nice adjustable windscreen here. The windscreen goes up and down a couple of inches. So depending on your riding style and your body shape, you can actually adjust it so it's at the right height for you and your needs. And particularly on a hot day, you could lower it to get more airflow down as well. Coming down to the front headlights and the lighting structures. Now, this is a polarizing thing about this bike. There's been lots of people saying how much they don't like it, but personally, I think it looks shit hot. I think it looks really good. I like that they're stepping outside of the norm. Essentially, this is a Harley that's as far from any Harley that you've ever seen before, and I'm glad that they're making it different when it comes to the lighting as well. Front wheels, you can see if you have a close look at the spokes on these wheels. Now these are tubeless spokes. As you can see, the tubes are coming to the outside of the rim, which means you can put tubeless tyres on, and you can also change the you can change the spokes easily without removing the tyres. So I think that's cool. I've not seen that before. I'm not saying that it hasn't existed before, but I personally haven't seen it before. Now double disc brakes on the front with Brembo brakes, and the stopping power on here is more than adequate. It's actually awesome. Coming into the front of the engine, you can see the cooler there, the radiator. Now crash bars, now I'm not sure if these crash bars are stock, but they're definitely on this bike, so you'll have to check with your dealer whether they're stock or not. Remember, in Australia, the Pan America only comes as the Special. In the States, there's a couple of different versions, but in Australia, it's just the Pan America Special. Now the 1250 Revolution Max engine is absolutely spot on. I can't fault it at all. It's got so much power, so much torque, and it literally torque in every gear range. It's such a win. Pipes are 2-into-1 coming out to the back here as one. What else can I talk about here? Foot pegs have got a rubber insert, but if you're doing lots of off-roading, you take that out and just have the nice jagged edge metal foot peg. Same on the pillion passenger peg as well. Now this says Screaming Eagle titanium. I think it's the factory exhaust. I don't think it's an aftermarket exhaust at the moment. Certainly if you did put one on, it would really liven it up a little bit from a sound point of view. Looking in here, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but you can see the monoshock in there, and it is adjustable. Coming down to a rear brake on the back. Again, the tubeless spokes that come externally. And also coming around to a chain drive, obviously being an adventure bike. A chain drive is more efficient. LEDs all round, luggage rack on the back. And again, please excuse my gear on the bike. I'm not putting it on the ground. I'm also getting eaten alive by mosquitoes at the moment too. So nice little image decal there. Now, being an adventure bike, as I said earlier, its main goals in life are to be able to do lots and lots of miles in comfort, be able to do freeway rides, twisties, and off-road capably, and it ticks all those boxes as well. And the 1250cc engine is an absolute ripper. It's also coming in the Sportster S, which is something to look forward to as well. Now, spending today on this bike has actually been an eye-opener for me, and it's made me realise I want to do more of this. I want to be able to get out and visit more of these beautiful locations on a motorcycle that my Street Glide Special won't reach. So an adventure bike is in my future. I can feel it in my bones.